Listen up. Tiny choices compound into impossible change. Do 1% more today than yesterday. Not once, not sometimes, every single day. And in 1 year, you will be unrecognizable. This book is not about motivation, it's about arithmetic. Small, consistent actions stack like interest on an account until your life is transformed. 1% every day. Start now. Chapter 1. Stop waiting for the moment. You have a choice. Stop waiting, stop storytelling, stop polishing the plan until the idea dies. Most people treat ready like a magic switch. It is not. It is an excuse. You have a choice. This chapter is simple. Start small, start now. That is the thesis. That is the command. 1% today. One tiny action, not a speech, not a promise, a single measurable move. That's the key. The lie of the perfect start is loud. People wait for the weekend. They wait for the right mood. They wait for permission. Newsflash, permission never comes. You don't need their permission. You don't need a green light. You need 2 minutes and a decision. Here's what the lie looks like in real life. The person who says, I'll write when I have a week free. The person who says, I'll get fit when I can afford the gym. The person who says, I'll start my business after I learn more. Those are comfortable sentences. They sound responsible. They are procrastination dressed up as planning. You have a choice. Choose action. Choose the smallest action that moves you forward. That is the discipline. It is not dramatic, it is relentless. It's not about inspiration, it's about discipline. Repeat that. It's not about inspiration, it's about discipline. Break the paralysis with micro-commitments. Use rules that laugh at willpower. The 2-minute rule is brutal and brilliant. Pick one task, shrink it to 2 minutes. 2 push-ups, 2 minutes of writing, 2 minutes of reading. Do it now. Do it again tomorrow. Do it the next day. Example, a writer who vowed to write 200 words daily. 200 words, not a novel, not a manifesto, 200 words. The writer kept it small. The writer kept it daily. 6 months later, the book was finished. No fanfare, no perfect conditions, just a daily micro-commitment. This is not rare, it is replicable. You have a choice. Do the smallest thing. Do the smallest thing until it becomes the smallest habit. That is how habits win. That is how momentum is born. That is how identities are rewritten. Now, the practical instructions. Do them. Don't overthink. Decide one micro-action now. Pick something you can do in 2 minutes. Write 1 sentence. Do 1 push-up. Send 1 email. Make 1 call. Choose 1. Write it down. Anchor it to a trigger. After brushing your teeth, after your first cup of coffee, during a commercial break. Make the cue obvious. Make the cue unavoidable. This is how rituals form. Track it visibly. Use a calendar. Draw an X. Use an app. Make the progress visible. The brain loves streaks. Protect the streak. That is the key. Reward the smallest win. A micro win needs a micro celebration. A nod, a sound, a quick note. Done. Do it again tomorrow. You have a choice. Protect the streak. Protect the minimum. Not perfection, not a perfect week. The minimum. That is your commandment. Rewiring identity is the final move. Identity is not a lecture. Identity is a ledger of choices. Identity is what you do repeatedly. Say this out loud. I am the person who shows up. Say it again, every morning, every night. Repeat it until you feel stupid. Keep saying it. Then act in ways that prove it. Small actions proof identity. 1 sentence written proves you are a writer. 1 minute of practice proves you are a practitioner. 1 call scheduled proves you are a connector. That is how beliefs change. Actions come first, belief follows. This is the brutal order. You will get resistance. Expect it. It will arrive as noise. It will be loudest at the start. You will rationalize. You will bargain. the bargaining down. You have a choice. Say it when you resist. Do the smallest thing. Say it when you stall. You don't need their permission. Say it when you wait. When the world tells you to wait, do the opposite. When your brain says later, say now. When doubt screams, whisper the 2-minute rule. Do the task, close the loop. That is how stubborn change begins. Failures will happen. Miss a day, miss a week. So what? Missing is a data point, not a verdict. Missing teaches you how your system breaks. Fix the system. That's the work. Create a recovery ritual. When you miss, do 2 minimum actions the next day. 2 small wins beat 1 dramatic promise. Protect the streak, not perfection. That's the key. Here are 3 exact scripts to use when you begin. Morning script. Today I will do 1 small thing. 2 minutes. Start small, start now. Then do it. Resistance script. I have a choice. I choose action. Do the smallest thing, then do it. Identity script. I am the person who shows up. Say it. Do the task. Repeat. Real-world constraints will try to be valid. Kids, job, bills, long hours, none of that excuses the system. Systems honor reality. Pick micro-actions that fit your life, not impossible lists. If you have 10-minute commute, use 1 minute of that commute for the micro-action. If you're exhausted at night, shift the micro-action to the morning. The system is adaptable. You are not. You will hear the line, "But I need momentum." That is correct. Momentum is the thing, but momentum does not come from giant events. Momentum comes from small, repeated acts, 1% every day. That is the arithmetic. That is the truth. Before you close this chapter, do 1 thing. Pick your micro-action. Say it out loud. Put it on your calendar. Perform it for 2 minutes. Mark the day. That simple action is your ritual of beginning. It rewires you. It tells your brain who you are. You have a choice. You can keep waiting for the perfect moment, or you can start with the smallest thing. You will not be the same in 12 months if you choose the second option. That is the promise. That is the plan. That is the method. You mastered the start. You smashed the myth of ready. You have chosen tiny, measurable action. You proved identity by doing. Now, let's talk about how to make those tiny moves unstoppable. Chapter 2. Make progress atomic. You have a choice. Pick something so small you cannot refuse it. Pick a step so tiny it feels silly. That is the point. Atomic beats heroic. Big plans die. Small actions survive. You will not win by waiting for peaks of energy. You will win by showing up in tiny ways every day. That's the key. Design actions so small they are unavoidable. 1 push-up, 1 email, 1 minute of walking. Make the action laughably small. Make it obvious. Make it tiny. Then do it. Repeat it. Repeat it until the tiny thing becomes a non-negotiable. Why tiny? Because resistance scales with size. Big tasks invite excuses. Small tasks do not. When the brain protests, the tiny action slips through the gate. You have a choice. Choose small. Choose consistent. That's the key. Example, the runner who started with 1 minute. 1 minute of jogging every day. At first, it felt pointless. It felt slow. That was the point. Day after day, the minutes stretched into 5, then 10, then 30. 1 minute removed the barrier. 1 minute built trust. Trust produced momentum. That's the key. Measure the smallest unit that matters. You cannot manage what you do not measure. Pick 1 metric. Pick 1 small metric. Track it daily. Measure the smallest win. If you write, measure sentences written. If you practice, measure minutes practiced. If you train, measure repetitions done. Keep the metric tiny. Keep it clear. Keep it visible. Measure the smallest win. Teams improve by 1% in sprint velocity because they measure one thing and refine it. They optimize the smallest unit of progress. They do not chase vanity numbers. They track what changes output. You should do the same. You have a choice. Measure the smallest win. Remove friction. Stack habits. Automate the right moves. Stack, automate, repeat. Put the tiny action next to a routine you already own. After brushing your teeth, after the kettle boils, after opening your laptop. Make the cue obvious. Make the cue unavoidable. Example, brush teeth to 1 push-up. Coffee to 2 minutes of reading. Bedtime to 1 journal entry. These pairings reduce decisions. They reduce friction. They force repetition. That's the key. Design your environment to favor the tiny action. If you want to do 1 push-up, leave your mat visible. If you want to write 2 sentences, leave a notebook on your pillow. If you want to run 1 minute, set your shoes by the bed. Environment is a silent coach. Use it. This is not semantics. This is strategy. It's not about talent. It's about discipline. It's not about genius. It's about systems. Use the phrase. Say it. Mean it. It's not about genius. It's about discipline. Repeat it. Here are the exact steps to make progress atomic. Do them now. Choose the atomic action. Pick 1 action you can do in 2 minutes or less. Write it down. Say it out loud. You have a choice. Attach a cue. Pick a trigger that happens every day. After coffee, after shower, after commute. Anchor the action. Make it visible. Use a calendar. Draw an X. Use a sticker. Track 1 small metric. Measure the smallest win. Remove friction. Prepare your environment. Set out shoes. Leave the notebook on the table. Make the next step obvious. Repeat and escalate slowly. When the tiny action becomes routine, increase it by 10 to 20%. Not by doubling, not by exploding, by increment. Protect the minimum. That's the key. You will face sabotage. The sabotage looks polite. It sounds like logic. I'm too busy. I'll need more time. I'll wait until Monday. These are excuses wearing masks. You have a choice. Cut them down with the tiny action. Use scripts to fight sabotage. Say them out loud, then do the action. Resistance script. 2 minutes, that's all. Start small, start now. Accountability script. I will do 1 small thing and mark it done. Identity script. I am the person who performs the smallest task daily. Do not overvalue comfort. Do not worship big feelings. Action beats feeling every time. Small action beats nice intentions every time. That's the key. Progress is boring. Progress is repetitive. Progress is arithmetic. 1% a day stacks. 1% a day compounds. But compounding only works when the unit is tiny and consistent. Make your unit tiny. Measure it. Protect it. When you make progress atomic, you remove drama. You remove the need for motivation. You remove the trap of someday. You replace all that with a system that honors reality. You have a choice. Choose the system. Now, practical examples you can steal. Creators, commit to 1 minute of writing or 1 headline a day. Measure headlines, track days. Fitness, commit to 1 bodyweight rep or 1 minute of movement. Shoes by bed, track reps. Learning, commit to 1 page or 5 minutes of language practice. Keep the book visible, track minutes. Business, commit to 1 outreach email daily. Track replies. Improve the subject line by 1 tweak. Measure response rate. Each example uses the same architecture: tiny action, visible tracker, cue, environment, repeat. That's the key. When you face a setback, do not throw out the system, repair it. Failures are data. They show where friction hides. Identify the friction, remove it, restructure the cue, shrink the action further, start again. You have a choice. This chapter is not a pep talk, it is a plan, it is a toolkit. Use it. The work is simple, it is not easy. Simplicity forces discipline. Discipline creates change. You have set the starting habit. You have learned to shrink your moves until they are unavoidable. You have learned to measure the smallest win. You have learned to stack and automate. Now you must protect the chain when progress feels invisible. You built atomic actions. You built a tiny engine. Next, learn how those tiny wins compound into unstoppable momentum.
Chapter 3. Compound wins, not days of doing nothing. You have a choice. You can chase dramatic bursts, or you can compound small wins. That is the decision. That is the tactic. That is the power. Listen to this math. It is not motivation, it is arithmetic. Grow by 1% every day. 1% day after day. After 365 days, you are not 365% better. You are multiplied. 1% daily becomes about 38 times bigger. That is real. That is the point. Compound wins. Now flip it. Shrink by 1% every day. You are not slightly worse, you collapse. After a year, you are about 2.5% of where you began. Small losses compound too. Compound wins, compound losses, both are ruthless. These numbers are merciless. They don't care about excuses. They reward the tiny, steady moves. They punish drift. You have a choice. That's the key. This chapter is about two things: protecting the streak and building visible momentum. Protect the streak. Don't break the chain. That is the mantra. Protect the streak, not perfection. Hear me. Missing a day is not a moral failing. Missing the philosophy is. If you miss, you do not quit. You repair, you recover, you come back stronger. That is the discipline. It's not about talent, it's about discipline. Say it, mean it, act on it. How to protect the streak. Use a daily minimum, a bare minimum you will do even when you hate it. 1 minute of practice, 1 sentence, 1 push-up, 1 email. Make it so small it cannot be bargained away. That is the strategy. Protect the minimum. Set a recovery ritual. If you miss, do 2 small actions the next day. Not a marathon. 2 micro wins. 2 minutes. 2 sentences. 2 reps. That tells your brain the system matters more than a single failure. Protect the streak. That's the key. Make the progress visible. The brain loves continuity. It rewards streaks. Use a paper calendar. Draw an X. Use an app that shows streaks. Use a notebook with dates. Make it impossible to hide whether you showed up. Seeing progress creates momentum. Don't break the chain. Real-world example. A musician who practiced 1 scale every morning. It looked useless at first. The scale took 5 minutes. The musician tracked days on the calendar. Week after week, the calendar filled. Months later, the scales became speed, control, and confidence. The small practice compounded into progress you could hear. Compound wins. Another example, a writer who wrote 150 words daily. Not a chapter, not a thesis, 150 words. He marked an X every day. He missed twice in 3 months. Each time he did his recovery ritual, 2 days of the minimum actions. The book finished in 9 months. It was not inspiration that finished it. It was a chain. Protect the streak. Now, the precise mechanics. Do these steps. Do them now. Choose the daily minimum. Pick something so small you will never lie to yourself about doing it. 1 minute, 1 sentence, 1 rep. That is your floor. You have a choice. Track visibly. Use a paper calendar.
Draw an X. Use a habit app that shows streaks. Use a notebook with dates. Make it impossible to hide whether you showed up. Seeing progress creates momentum. Don't break the chain. Create the recovery ritual. Miss a day, do 2 minimums the next day. Miss again, add 1 more. The recovery ritual is a bridge back. It says the system is sacred. You don't need their permission to restart. You have a choice. Build feedback loops. Review weekly. Ask 3 questions. Did I do the minimum every day? What friction stopped me? What micro change removes that friction next week? Fast feedback shortens the loop between action and improvement. Celebrate micro milestones. After 7 straight days, mark it. After 30, purchase a small token. Celebrations reinforce identity. Identity is built by repeated acts. Repeat, I am the person who preserves the chain. Use accountability. Tell 1 person. Send a daily text. Post a proof once a week. Public micro-commitments tilt your behavior toward consistency. You have a choice. Use social leverage. That's the key. Beware perfection traps. Perfection is seductive. It says wait. It says later. It steals months. The truth is, perfect systems fail because they are fragile. The simplest systems survive. The smallest actions scale. It's not about perfection, it's about persistence. It's not about perfect days, it's about repeated days. Repeat that line until it sticks. Momentum is an engine built from visible wins. The engine needs fuel, daily minimums, recovery rituals, and public accountability. Feed it, protect it, keep it in view. The engine will carry you through plateaus. The engine will help on bad days. Compound wins. When the plateau hits, do not panic. Plateaus are proof the system is working. Internal capacity grows before external evidence appears. Stay the course. Adjust tiny levers. Measure the smallest signal. Minutes, reps, sentences. Then tinker. Small adjustments compound too. Final rules. Memorize them. Repeat them. Use them. Number 1. Pick the smallest minimum and protect it. You have a choice. Rule number 2. Track visibly. Don't break the chain. That's the key. Rule number 3. When you miss, perform the recovery ritual. You don't need their permission to restart. Rule number 4. Review weekly and remove friction. It's not about talent, it's about discipline. This is not rhetoric. This is a system. Compound wins force the world to change you. They will transform skill, health, wealth, and focus. They will do it quietly. They will do it without drama. That is the power of arithmetic. You have a choice. Start the chain. Keep the chain. Repair the chain. Right now, mark today's X. Protect the streak. Compound wins. You learned how to start. You mastered the smallest action. Now you will learn to make those standards part of who you are. Chapter 4. The 1% Mindset. Tiny standards, giant identity. You have a choice. You can chase grand goals that live in the future, or you can build small standards that live every single day. That is the decision. That is the mindset. That is the advantage. Standards beat goals. Say it, mean it, repeat it. Goals are directional. Standards are daily. Goals are a dream. Standards are a practice. Goals can be ignored. Standards cannot. That's the key. What is a micro-standard? A micro-standard is a non-negotiable, tiny behavior you perform daily. 1 page of reading, 1 sketch, 1 sentence written, 1 minute of practice. Small, measurable, repeatable. Standards beat goals because standards replace motivation with routine. Listen to real examples. Artists who commit to 1 sketch a day, not 3 hours, 1 sketch. Month after month, the portfolio grows, not because of talent, because of habits. It's not about genius, it's about discipline. Repeat that. It's not about genius, it's about discipline. Writers who write one sentence a day, one sentence. The sentence stacks. The sentences become paragraphs. Paragraphs become chapters. The book appears quietly. Standards beat goals. That is the architecture of long work. You have a choice. Choose identity over targets. Choose who you are over what you want. That is the 1% mindset. Identity-based reinforcement is not mystical, it is mechanical. Speak a line, then prove it through action. Say, I am the kind of person who shows up. Then do one tiny thing that proves the statement. Do it again tomorrow. Do it again the next day. Identity forms from repeated acts. Act like who you want to be. Example, the runner who laces shoes for 1 minute. Not a run, just lace the shoes. Stand up, step outside. Often the minute becomes 5. The 5 becomes 15. The identity takes hold. The person who laces shoes will run. You don't need their permission, you only need the tiny proof. You have a choice. Use these identity scripts. Use them out loud. They work because actions follow words. Words are contracts with yourself. Make small promises. Keep them. That is how trust is built. That's the key. Now, practical steps to create standards that stick. Do these steps today. Define one micro-standard. Pick one small, non-negotiable act, 1 page, 1 minute, 1 rep. Make it absurdly small. The point is not to impress anyone. The point is to be consistent. You have a choice. Attach the standard to a cue. Ritualize it. After brushing teeth, after your coffee, when you sit at the desk. Make the trigger obvious. Make the cue automatic. Rituals eliminate choices. Rituals conserve willpower. Ritualize the 1%. Make the standard visible and accountable. Write it on a sticky note. Put it on your mirror. Track it in a calendar. Tell one person. Public micro-commitments tilt behavior toward consistency. Protect the minimum. Protect the streak. That's the key. Prove identity with micro-evidence. Each day, perform the tiny action and record the proof. A check mark, a voice note, a photo. The proof rewires belief. I did it becomes I am that person. Act like who you want to be. Escalate slowly and safely. When the standard is inviolable, increase by a small percentage. Not double, not explode. 10%, 20%. Keep the minimum sacred. Growth happens above the floor, not by removing it. Protect the streak. Convert friction into ritual. That sentence is critical. Friction is decision. Friction is wasted willpower. Ritual removes the question. Ritual makes the right move the default move. Anchor rituals to times and places. A ritual tied to place is hard to skip. The kitchen table, the study lamp, the running shoes by the door. These physical cues are silent coaches. Use them. Design your environment to favor the standard. Make the default choice the right one. Small design tweaks move the needle. Want to read 1 page? Put the book on the pillow. Want to write 1 sentence? Leave a notebook on the keyboard. Want to practice music? Keep the instrument out of its case. Tiny environmental nudges lower resistance. You have a choice. Use it. You will face resistance. It arrives as logic and charm. I need more time. I'll wait until Monday. I'll do a full session tomorrow. These are old tricks. They want you to stall. Fight them with ritual and the minimum. 2 minutes, 1 sentence, 1 rep. Do the tiny thing. Repeat the phrase, do the smallest thing. It's not about grand identity statements. It's about the tiny proofs. The person who wants to be fit does 1 push-up. The person who wants to be a writer writes 1 line. The person who wants to be a musician plays 1 bar. Identity is a ledger of small proofs. You have a choice. Use repetition as a hammer. Repeat these lines often. You have a choice. Say it when you stall. You don't need their permission. Say it when you wait for others. It's not about perfection, it's about persistence. Say it when you fear failing. Standards beat goals. Say it when you set a target. These are not slogans, they are functional tools. Say them, then act. Repeat. That is the discipline. Turn standards into rituals with simple scripts. Use them as commands. Use them as triggers. Morning script. 1 page, 1 minute. Start small, then do it. Resistance script. You have a choice. Do the smallest thing, then do it. Identity script. I am the kind of person who shows up. Prove it now. Track progress weekly. Reflect monthly. Ask, did the standard survive friction? Which cue failed? What environmental change removes the friction? Tinker fast. Small adjustments compound into major gains. Remember, standards are ruthless because they are small. They expose excuses. They force discipline. They reorder priorities. They make identity inevitable. That's the key. You are not signing up for a sprint. You are signing up for a life. The 1% mindset is not a tactic you try for a month. It is a framework you live by. Build standards. Anchor them with rituals. Prove your identity with tiny daily acts. Protect the minimum. Protect the streak. You have built the skill of starting. You learned to make progress atomic. You have now learned the 1% mindset. Standards beat goals. Ritualize the 1%. Act like who you want to be. Protect the minimum. That is your advantage. You have a choice. Choose standards. Choose identity. Choose ritual. You don't need their permission. You only need to show up. You have embedded the 1% into how you live. Next, we remove what steals your momentum.
Chapter 5. Kill what consumes momentum. You have a choice. You can protect your time, or you can hand it away. Most people hand it away. They give their minutes to friction, distractions, and false urgency. That ends now. Cut what steals time. Say it, mean it, repeat it. This chapter is brutal because momentum is fragile. Momentum is earned by tiny, steady acts. Momentum is destroyed by tiny, habitual thefts. Cut what steals time. That's the key. First, identify the thieves. Know what takes your minutes. Social scroll, analysis paralysis, perfection traps, meetings that could be an email, anxiety disguised as research. Each of these is a momentum thief. Name them, write them down, make the thieves visible. You have a choice. Social scroll is the loudest thief. It sneaks in between tasks. It promises escape. It gives dopamine and takes hours. The result is guilt and less progress. Cut it. Make the scroll costly. Move the app off your home screen. Use the screen timer. Delete it for 24 hours. You have a choice. Cut what steals time. Analysis paralysis is another thief. It looks like preparation. It feels productive. It is not. It is a stall. You collect notes and never ship. Use time-boxed decisions. Decide in 5 minutes. Pick a default, then act. Activity beats endless planning. That's the key. Perfection traps steal momentum too. Perfection says, wait until perfect. Perfection is an excuse wearing a saint's robe. You will always find a reason to wait. Replace perfection with a minimum viable standard. Ship the draft, ship the prototype, ship the podcast episode. It's not about perfection, it's about discipline. Repeat that. It's not about perfection, it's about discipline. Now, practical moves. Do these steps. Do them today. Audit 1 week of time. Track your hours for 7 days. Use a simple list. Note where minutes go. No judgment, just data. You have a choice. Facts free you. Mark the top 3 thieves. Pick the habits that eat the most time. Social media, doom scrolling, meetings, endless editing. Write them down. Call them out. Name them. You have a choice.
cut what steals time. Replace, don't fight. When you are tempted, swap the action with a neutral micro-action. Swap, don't fight. The brain resists prohibition. The brain accepts a replacement. If you want to stop scrolling, switch to 1 minute of breathing. If you want to stop doom reading, switch to 1 sentence of work. If you want to kill endless inbox checks, use a 2-minute triage block 3 times a day. Swap, don't fight. That's the key. Neutral micro-actions are tiny and non-judgmental. They reduce friction. They reduce shame. They make the new behavior easy to accept. You will not always feel proud. You will feel committed. Commitment compounds. You have a choice. Engineer your environment. Design your default. Move one object. Make the right choice obvious. Put running shoes beside the bed. Leave your notebook on the kitchen table. Unplug the charger for the device you waste time on. Design your default. That's the key. Environment is silent. It nudges you without sermons. Use it. Want to write in the morning? Put your laptop open on the table the night before. Want to practice music? Leave the instrument tuned and exposed. Want to eat better? Place fruit on the counter and hide the cookies. Small design changes remove decisions. Small changes save willpower. You have a choice. Create friction for bad habits. If the phone is a problem, add resistance. Use a lockbox at night. Use a paid app blocker. Log out of social accounts each evening. The extra step makes casual scrolling rare. Friction is a tool. Use it to protect your minutes. Cut what steals time. Script your exits. When a meeting is wasting time, use a line. We'll cover the rest over email. When a task feels like procrastination, ask, what is the one small step I can do now? Use scripts. They remove hesitation. They protect momentum. You have a choice. Schedule deep work blocks. Block 60 to 90 minutes without interruption. Guard that block like a sacred appointment. Put deep work on the calendar. Turn off notifications. Close tabs. This is where progress happens. Shallow work is noisy. Deep work is where momentum compounds. Protect the blocks. Use visible cues. A red post-it, a single lamp turned on, a timer on the desk. These cues remind you what matters. They nudge you back to the work when distraction pulls. Design the default to favor the right cue. Design your default. Replace bad micro-habits with micro-rewards. After a focused block, take a genuine break. 10 minutes of sunlight, a walk, not doom scrolling. Reward the work, not the avoidance. Reward reinforces habit. You have a choice. Track, review, iterate. Weekly review. Ask which thief returned. Where did friction hide? What tiny fix ends it next week? Small fixes compound into a system. The system protects your time. Protect the streak of minutes that make your months. Use these scripts when you are tempted. 2 minutes, that's all. Then do a neutral micro-action. Swap, don't fight. Then swap the habit. You have a choice. Then choose the action that moves you forward. Here are 2 real examples you can steal. Example 1. A CEO who scheduled 2 90-minute deep work blocks and moved all apps off the phone during those blocks. She reclaimed 8 hours per week of real creative focus. Momentum returned. Results followed. Example 2. A designer who replaced late-night scrolling with a 2-minute journal entry. She kept a pen by the bed. The switch calmed her mind and preserved sleep. Small change, big ripple. Cut what steals time. Momentum is not built on willpower alone. Willpower fails. Systems survive. Systems are simply engineered defaults, neutral swaps, and recovery scripts. Design the default. Swap the habit. Protect the minutes. That's the key. You have a choice. You can let momentum die in small thefts, or you can kill the thieves. You can design a life where the right choice is the easy choice. You don't need their permission. You only need a plan and small, relentless action. You saw how to start. You learn to make progress atomic. You learn to compound wins. Now you have removed the thieves. You protected your minutes. Next, create feedback that turns those minutes into measurable growth.
Chapter 6. Feedback loops that fuel incremental growth. You have a choice. You can wander blind, or you can build fast feedback. That is the difference between luck and leverage. Feedback turns random effort into learning. Feedback turns action into improvement. Feedback fast. That is the command. Feedback must be short. Fast beats thorough when you are iterating. 5-minute reviews, 1-minute recordings, quick takes, immediate corrections. The musician who records a 2-minute riff and listens back tightens faster than the one who waits a week. Feedback fast. Say it, mean it, do it. Why fast? Because the brain links cause and effect better when the delay is short. When the delay is long, the link blurs. You cannot learn if you cannot see what your action produced. Fast feedback tightens the learning loop. It increases the signal-to-noise ratio. Feedback fast. That's the key. Practical Rule 1. Build micro-feedback cycles. Daily capture. Spend 5 minutes at the end of each day. What worked? What failed? 1 line per item. No essays, no drama. Quick facts. 5-minute experiment cycles. Do a change, record what you did, measure the result, repeat. Weekly micro retros. 15 minutes, 3 questions. What moved the needle? What blocked me? What one tiny change next week? Answer, act, repeat. You have a choice. Use short tests. Test 1 variable at a time. Small changes produce clear signals. Big changes produce noise. This is iteration, not fireworks. Feedback fast. Next, track the true signal. Too many people worship vanity numbers, likes, views, fancy graphs. They confuse motion with progress. Track the true signal. Pick 2 metrics and ignore the rest. 2 measures, no more. 2 metrics force clarity. 2 metrics force decisions. Track the true signal. How to pick your 2 metrics? Ask 1 question. Which metric predicts the outcome I actually want? If you want clients, track conversions, not impressions. If you want writing output, track sentences or minutes of writing, not social applause. If you want skill, track minutes practiced, not followers. Choose the metric that moves results. Focus on it. Track the true signal. Examples. Sales team. Track calls that turn into meetings and meetings that turn into deals, not vanity opens. Music student. Track clean measures played at tempo, not hours logged. Creator. Track completion rate of viewers, not clicks. Track the true signal. Repeat that line. Track the true signal. Now, scale accountability with the 1% system. Tiny actions can be public. Tiny checks can be daily. Share the 1%. Accountability multiplies the effect of small moves. It scales discipline. How to scale accountability? Daily voice notes. Send a 10 to 30-second voice check to 1 person. Today, I did 5 minutes of practice. Done. Short, public, repeat. Share the 1%. Micro check-ins. A 2-line daily text to your accountability partner. 1 task done, 1 problem. That's it. Weekly proof posts. 1 screenshot, 1 X, 1 log entry. No essays. Public tiny commitments create social friction that sustains streaks. You have a choice. Choose small public proofs over private promises. You don't need their permission to be accountable. You only need a partner and a tiny action. Share the 1%. Feedback can sting. Bad results will appear. That is how learning starts.
Do not punish yourself. Treat data as a gift. Data is a map, not a verdict. When metrics point down, use recovery scripts. 2 small actions the next day. A tiny troubleshooting checklist. Fix the system, not the person. It's not about failure, it's about discipline. Repeat, it's not about failure, it's about discipline. Here are exact feedback protocols you can steal. Implement them today. The 5-minute end-of-day capture. Set a timer for 5 minutes. Write 3 lines. 1, small win. 2, 1 block. 3, 1 next tiny test. Save the note. Close the loop. Feedback fast. The 3-question weekly retro. 15 minutes. What moved the needle this week? What created friction? What 1 micro test will I run next week? Answer quickly. Act immediately. The 2-metric dashboard. Pick A, leading indicator. Pick B, lagging outcome. Update daily or weekly. If A moves and B lags, iterate A. If both stall, shrink the action. Track the true signal. The micro accountability habit. Send 1 voice note or text to a partner each day. Message contains the tiny action done and 1 obstacle. Receive 2 replies max. Close the loop. Share the 1%. Use the feedback to prune noise. Noise is everything that distracts from the 2 metrics. Noise is the flashy but useless. Remove it. If a measurement doesn't change decision-making, stop tracking it. Less data is often better. Track the true signal. That is discipline. Also, engineer quick experiments. Make changes small and measurable. Change the headline, not the whole product. Change the tempo, not the entire practice routine. Small experiments produce clear feedback. Big experiments produce confusion. Feedback fast. When you get feedback that hurts, apply a short troubleshooting checklist. Don't spiral. Do this instead. Pause for 5 minutes. Breathe. Identify 1 likely cause. Design a 1-variable micro-test for 3 days. Execute the test, capture results, iterate, repeat, repeat, repeat. Feedback is a habit you build. Feedback loops also mean you get to end the blame cycle. Stop blaming conditions. Stop blaming people. Use what you control. Small tests, fast data, honest notes. That is the work. You have a choice. Finally, document the learning. Keep a single notebook of small wins and micro tests. Over months, you will have a map of what works. Patterns appear. Systems form. Decisions become faster. That is the compound power of feedback. Memorize the mantras. Say them often. Feedback fast. Track the true signal. Share the 1%. It's not about excuses, it's about discipline. You have built the engine of learning. You turned actions into data. You turned data into tweaks. You turned tweaks into habit. Now you must use patience when progress stalls. Systems need time. The next chapter shows how to weather plateaus without panic.
Chapter 7. Weathering plateaus with patience and precision. You have a choice. You will push forward or you will panic. Both are options. One wins, one loses. Choose well. Progress is not a straight line. It never was. Expect non-linear progress. 1 week looks like a leap. The next month looks like a wall. That is normal. That is the system. Trust the slow burn. Say it. Repeat it. Trust the slow burn. Listen, the work you do today stacks in hidden ways. Skills build below visibility. Strength accumulates in quiet increments. Confidence forms in private moments. The results show up later. That lag feels like failure. It is not failure. It is investment. Trust the slow burn. That is discipline.
This chapter is about 3 realities. First, accept that visible improvement will stall. Second, use deliberate micro-practice to force adaptation. Third, re-anchor goals on a quarterly rhythm so progress resumes. These are the levers. Use them. That's the key. Reality 1. Plateaus are evidence the system is working. You are doing more. Internal capacity increases. External results wait. The brain changes before the scoreboard moves. The muscles, the neural pathways, the habits, these all adapt under the surface. The surface stall is temporary. Trust the slow burn. When progress stalls, you will feel doubt. You will doubt the method. You will doubt yourself. You will ask for shortcuts. You will search for fireworks. Resist. Fireworks are expensive and short-lived. Systems survive. Systems win. It's not about shortcuts. It's about discipline. Repeat. It's not about shortcuts. It's about discipline. Behavioral Rule 1. Zoom out. Look at monthly and yearly views. 1 day lies. 1 week lies. The month gives better truth. The quarter gives truer truth. When you feel stuck, ask, where was I 3 months ago? If you are better in subtle ways, you are winning. Track the long arc. Trust the slow burn. Reality 2. Micro-practice is your weapon during plateaus. When results stall, change a tiny parameter. Tempo, volume, focus length, wording, anchor. Make the change measurable. Run a micro-test for 3 to 7 days. Keep changes tiny. Short cycles give fast feedback. Record results. Adjust. If results improve, scale slowly. Increase by 10 to 20%. Keep the minimum the same. Protect the streak. That's the key. If results fail, revert and test another tiny change. Failures are data. Fail fast, learn faster. Micro change, micro adapt. Here is the protocol for deliberate micro practice. Follow it now. Identify the stuck variable. Name one thing that feels stalled. Be specific. Pull-up strength, not fitness. Email conversion, not marketing. Pick one small parameter to change. Tempo, volume, focus length, wording, anchor. Make the change measurable. Run a micro-test for 3 to 7 days. Keep changes tiny. Short cycles give fast feedback. Record results, adjust. If results improve, scale slowly. Increase by 10 to 20%. Keep the minimum the same. Protect the streak. That's the key. If results fail, revert and test another tiny change. Failures are data. Fail fast, learn faster. Micro change, micro adapt. Reality 3. Re-anchor and continue. Reassess quarterly. Don't be a reactor, be a planner. Quarterly re-anchoring keeps you honest. Re-anchor and continue. Every 90 days, do a short audit. Use 3 reflection prompts. Answer them in 15 to 30 minutes. What improved materially in the last 90 days? What stopped progress or consumed momentum? What one micro standard will be adjusted for the next quarter? Write answers. Share them with a partner or the log. Re-anchor and continue. Quarterly re-anchoring prevents mission drift. It prevents emotional decisions. It forces tiny course corrections. It rescues you from chasing noise. It keeps you aligned with the arithmetic of 1% improvements. Re-anchor and continue. That's the key. Now the recovery ritual when plateaus sting. Use it without drama. Pause and breathe for 2 minutes. Reset the nervous system. Do one bare minimum action immediately. Protect the streak. Run a 5-minute feedback check. Look at your 2 metrics. What moved?
what didn't. Choose one micro-adjustment, test it for a week, micro-change, micro-adapt. Mark the action on your calendar, close the loop. You have a choice. You can react emotionally, or you can run the system. Systems win. Systems survive. It's not about inspiration, it's about discipline. Repeat, it's not about inspiration, it's about discipline. A few practical scripts for the plateau moments. Use them now. When doubt rises, you have a choice. Do the smallest thing, then do it. When panic wants overhaul, micro-change, micro-adapt. Make one tiny tweak, then measure. When motivation fades, trust the slow burn. Review the long arc, then act. Plateaus also teach humility. They force a long view. They force better questions. They demand precision. Patience without precision is procrastination. Patience with precision is mastery. Trust the slow burn. Micro-change, micro-adapt. Re-anchor and continue. Remember your mantras. Repeat them until they become reflex. You have a choice. Trust the slow burn. Micro-change, micro-adapt. Re-anchor and continue. It's not about talent, it's about discipline. Use these lines as commands, then follow them with action. That is the work. You will hit plateaus again. You will adapt. You will continue. That is the arithmetic of small gains. You have a choice. Give up or adjust. Adjust. Protect your minimum. Tweak the smallest lever. Keep your eyes on the year. You learned how to start. You learned to make progress atomic. You learned to compound wins. You learned to create standards and kill thieves. You learned to get feedback. Now you can weather plateaus with patience and precision. You weathered the stall. You learned the tools to move forward. Next, multiply the 1% into systems that amplify your effort.
Chapter 8. Multiplying 1% through compounding systems. You have a choice. You can chase single heroic moves, or you can build systems that do the work for you. Systems win. Systems scale. Systems beat single moves. That's the point. That's the key. This chapter is about multiplication. It's about turning tiny habits into a machine. One push-up is a move. A morning system that includes sleep, nutrition, and 10 minutes of movement is leverage. Systems amplify. Systems stack. Systems multiply the 1% until the results look like magic. Systems beat single moves. Say it, mean it, use it. Start with combination, not addition. A habit alone is fragile. A system is redundant. If one part fails, others carry the load. Combine micro-habits into a morning, an evening, and a work system. Example, nutrition plus sleep plus 10 minutes of movement plus 5 minutes of planning. Each part is small. Together, they change decision-making and energy. Together, they produce clarity. Together, they produce output. Systems beat single moves. Design systems so they nudge each other. Put low-friction actions next to each other. Sleep improved. Energy improved. Movement happens. Clarity for work. Better decisions about food. Each tiny win makes the next tiny win easier. That's compounding. You have a choice. Stack the small things. That's the key. Concrete instructions. Do them now. Map the morning system. Pick 3 micro-actions, 7 to 8 hours of sleep, 10 minutes movement, 5 minutes planning. Make each action impossible to skip. Sleep is a bedtime ritual. Movement is shoes by the bed. Planning is a one-line journal on the phone. Protect the system. Protect the minimum.
Systems beat single moves. Map the evening reset. Pick 3 micro-actions. Prep clothes, pack a simple lunch, 2-minute tidy. These remove decision friction in the morning. Small prep frees big energy. You have a choice. Use it. Build a work system. 2 90-minute deep blocks, 1 metric to track, 1 recovery ritual. Automate low-value tasks, templates, canned replies, scheduled posts. Batch similar tasks into fixed windows. Systems beat single moves. Leverage is the next tool. You cannot do everything. You must multiply your time. Delegate, automate, batch. That's leverage. Leverage the tiny wins. Delegate the things that do not need your highest attention. Hire a cleaner for 1 hour a week. Outsource a recurring design task. Use templates. Delegation creates time for the small, high-leverage micro-actions only you can do. You have a choice. Use it. Leverage the tiny wins. Automate the routine. Use simple tools. Set bill payments, schedule social posts, use calendar blocks for recurring focus. Automation reduces decision load. Automation protects momentum. Leverage the tiny wins. Batch tasks to reduce context switching. Record content in 2-hour blocks. Respond to email in 2 scheduled windows. Create a 1-hour batch for all short edits. Batching increases productivity without willpower. Systems do the heavy lifting. Leverage the tiny wins. Scale upward with safety rails. This is a discipline. Increase, not explode. Growth that explodes fails. Growth that escalates slowly survives. Keep the minimum intact when you increase. That's the rule. Increase, not explode. How to increase safely. Raise the ceiling by 10 to 20% only. If your minimum is 1 minute of practice, raise to 1 minute and 12 seconds. Small increases compound. Keep the floor sacred. Protect the streak. That's the key. Add a backstop for stress. When life gets hard, drop to the minimum. When life improves, restore the increase. Systems must be robust to reality. You don't need their permission to simplify. You have a choice. Use time-limited sprints for bigger jumps. 3-week micro-sprints with a clear focus. After the sprint, evaluate. If the new level is sustainable, fold it into the system. If not, revert. Increase, not explode. Leverage is a multiplier, not a replacement for discipline. Delegation and automation do not replace small daily actions, they amplify them. You still do the core micro-actions. You still protect the minimum. Leverage the tiny wins. Real examples you can steal. Entrepreneur morning system, 7H sleep, 10-minute mobility, 5-minute task list. Result, better focus and 2 hours of high-quality work per day gained. Systems beat single moves. Creator batching system. Record 4 videos in 2 hours each Sunday. Edit in 2 scheduled evenings. Automate posting. Result, consistent cadence and reduced anxiety. Leverage the tiny wins. Small business owner. Automate invoices and delegate bookkeeping odd jobs 1 hour weekly. Free time used for outreach. Sales increased. Increase, not explode. Now practical build steps. Follow this template. Step A, inventory. List current micro habits. 1 page, 1 minute, 1 rep. Be literal. Step B, group into systems. Morning, evening, work, recovery. Each system has 3 micro actions. Keep them tiny. Step C, environmental support. Place objects where they belong. Shoes by the bed, journal on the pillow, water bottle on the desk. The environment is the silent teammate. Step D, leverage plan. List tasks to delegate, automate, or batch. Pick one this week. Delegate it,
Automate it, batch it. Step E, safety rails. Set the minimum, set the small increment, decide how to revert under stress, protect the minimum. You will get lazy and try to do everything. Don't. Systems force focus. Systems trim drama. Systems normalize discipline. It's not about willpower, it's about architecture. It's not about talent, it's about discipline. Repeat it, use it, live it. Mantras to drill every morning. You have a choice. Systems beat single moves. Leverage the tiny wins. Increase, not explode. You don't need their permission. End with a visible test. This week, build one system, 3 micro actions, 1 environmental tweak, 1 thing delegated or automated. Run it for 7 days. Track 2 metrics. Small tests become large results. You have multiplied the 1%. You turned individual habits into machines. You used leverage. You added safety rails. You protected the floor while increasing the ceiling. That is how ordinary days become extraordinary years. You built systems that amplify. You turned tiny wins into multipliers. Next, we will use people to accelerate, how your tribe becomes a force multiplier.
Chapter 9. The Social Geometry of Small Gains. You have a choice. You can try to grow alone, or you can let your environment pull you forward. Most people fail not because they are weak, but because they are surrounded by the wrong signals. That's the truth. That's the key. Progress is social. Discipline is social. Laziness is social. Culture compounds. Say it again. Culture compounds. You don't rise to your goals. You sink to your surroundings. This chapter is about geometry, angles, proximity, pressure, the invisible forces that shape behavior without asking your permission. If you want 1% gains to stick, you must design your social world to make consistency normal. Culture compounds. Start here. Micro influences. You don't need a mastermind. You don't need a celebrity mentor. You need proximity to people who do small things every day. Friends who read 1 page. Friends who train for 10 minutes. Friends who write 1 paragraph. Not talkers, doers. Quiet ones, consistent ones. Example, study groups that meet for 20 minutes daily. Not 2 hours, not debates, not motivation speeches. 20 minutes. Cameras on, work done, leave. Results? Attendance stays high. Output compounds. Identity shifts. Culture compounds. Why this works? Behavior is contagious at the micro level. When showing up becomes the norm, skipping feels strange. You don't need motivation. You feel friction if you don't act. You have a choice. Curate your inputs or absorb whatever surrounds you. Concrete instruction. Audit your circle. Right now. Who normalizes consistency? Who normalizes excuses? Who talks big but acts small? You don't need to cut people off dramatically. Just reduce exposure, increase proximity to consistency. Culture compounds. Next, architect social contracts that reward showing up. Willpower is unreliable. Social expectation is not. A social contract is simple. I said I would. Others are watching. That pressure is not toxic. It's clarifying. Public commitments. Tiny shared rituals. Micro contests. Example, a writing club with daily 15-minute sprints. No critique, no overthinking. Timer starts, everyone writes. Timer ends, everyone posts word count. Done. What's rewarded? Showing up. Not brilliance, not perfection, consistency. Show up together. Repeat it. Show up together. Why this works? It removes decision-making. You don't decide whether to write. The group decided already. You don't need their permission to simplify. You need structure. Design a social contract this week. Here's how. Pick one behavior. 1. Writing, reading, training, learning. Shrink it to a non-threatening minimum. 10 to 20 minutes, no exceptions. Make it visible. Group chat, shared doc, simple emoji check-in. Add a ritual. Same time, same days, same format. Keep it boring. Boring survives. Exciting burns out. Show up together. Micro-contests can help, but only if they reward consistency. Streaks, attendance, completion, not outcomes. First to miss a day buys coffee. First to complete 20 sessions chooses the next book. Small stakes, frequent feedback. Culture compounds. Now the shortcut most people ignore. Imitation. You don't need to invent habits. You need to copy the right ones. Imitation is not weakness, it's efficiency. Children learn by copying. So do elite performers. So should you. Find one person you respect, not admire from afar. Respect because they are consistent. Then steal one small routine. 1. Not their entire life, not their personality. One routine. Example. A runner you respect laces shoes and steps outside for 1 minute every morning. A creator you respect writes one sentence before checking messages. A founder you respect plans tomorrow's top task every night. Copy it exactly. Same time, same trigger, same scale. Steal the right habits. Do it until it stops feeling borrowed. Do it until it feels like yours. Identity follows behavior, always. Repeat this phrase. Act like who you want to be. Then copy how they act at the smallest level. Why imitation works? It bypasses analysis paralysis. No debating, no redesigning, just execution. You have a choice. Think your way forward or copy your way forward. Steal the right habits. Now combine all three forces: micro-influences, social contracts, imitation. This is social geometry. Angles matter. Distance matters. Who you sit next to matters. Place yourself near people who do the work quietly. Bind yourself to small public promises. Copy one habit from someone ahead of you. Culture compounds. Warnings you must hear. Avoid loud ambition with no follow-through. Energy drains are contagious. Avoid comparison at the outcome level. Compare attendance. Compare streaks. Avoid groups that reward talk. Talk is cheap. Show up together. Avoid changing groups too often. Stability creates norms. Norms create identity. Remember, missing a day is not failure. Leaving the culture is. Protect the streak, protect the group, protect the ritual. Practical weekly assignment. This week, join or create one 15 to 20-minute daily or near-daily group. Make the commitment public. Copy one micro-routine from someone consistent. Reduce exposure to one environment that normalizes excuses. That's it. Not dramatic, not viral, effective. You are not doing this for applause. You are doing this to become unrecognizable in a year. Culture compounds. Show up together. Steal the right habits. You've learned how systems multiply effort. Now you've learned how people multiply discipline. Next, we will close the loop. How to sustain all of this when motivation dies and life hits hard. You mastered the individual. You mastered the system. You mastered the social field. Now it's time to lock it in.
Chapter 10, Unrecognizable, the Year-End Audit. This is where it all comes together. Not in theory, in evidence. This chapter is not motivation, it's a mirror. Because after 12 months of 1% actions, there is no debate.
You are either different or you weren't consistent. You have a choice. Look honestly or lie comfortably. That's the key. Start with visualization, not fantasy, trajectory. Most people think in days, winners think in seasons. Picture a calendar, not a highlight reel. A winter of showing up tired, a spring of momentum, a summer of visible gains, a fall of quiet confidence. 1% every day. Map it. Daily actions create weekly patterns. Weekly patterns create monthly output. Monthly output creates seasonal identity shifts. Example, someone practices a skill for 10 minutes a day. That's it. No drama, no grind posts. 10 minutes a day becomes 5 hours a month. 5 hours a month becomes 60 hours a year. In 9 months, they deliver a career-defining project, not because of talent, because they didn't stop. 1% every day. That's the math most people ignore. They want breakthroughs. They avoid accumulation. You don't need their permission to think long-term. You need discipline. Do this now. Audit the last 90 days, not emotionally, behaviorally. Ask, what did I actually do daily? What was consistent? What was optional? Then zoom out. If the next 365 days look exactly like the last 90, who will you become? You have a choice. Now, celebration, not ego, reinforcement. Most people sabotage progress by skipping this step. They move the goalpost. They never mark progress, so the brain never learns. Celebrate the small wins. Say it again. Celebrate the small wins. This is not indulgence, it's conditioning. Your brain repeats what gets rewarded. If you only reward outcomes, you train inconsistency. If you reward process, you train identity. Example, quarterly rituals. Every 90 days, you stop, you review, you mark progress. Not with hype, with evidence. Pages written, sessions completed, days shown up. Then you celebrate. Dinner, a day off, a simple ritual that says, this matters. Celebrate the small wins. Add gratitude audits. Gratitude is not softness, it's accuracy. You list what improved because you showed up. More stamina, clearer thinking, less resistance. This locks in the identity shift. I am the person who follows through. Repeat it, say it slowly. Celebrate the small wins. Now the final move, commitment. Not to hustle, not to intensity, to a system. Most people make resolutions. You will make a structure. Commit to the next 365 as a system, not a sprint. Write a one-line plan. One line. It should list the core micro-actions, the non-negotiable minimum. Example, every weekday, write one paragraph and review yesterday's work for 2 minutes. That's it. No motivation clauses, no emotional language, just behavior. 1% every day. This is where most people fail. They over-design, they under-execute. Keep it small, keep it boring, keep it alive. Be unrecognizable. Say it again, be unrecognizable. Not louder, not busier, different. Different habits, different standards, different baseline. You have a choice. Repeat last year or audit it and evolve. This audiobook gave you the framework. The 1% rule is not a trick, it's a filter. It filters excuses, it filters impatience, it filters ego. What remains is discipline. It's not about motivation, it's about repetition. It's not about talent, it's about systems. It's not about intensity, it's about consistency. That's the key. Final challenge. Before this day ends, write your one-line system. Choose your non-negotiable minimum. Decide when it happens. Decide where it happens. No waiting, no perfect timing. Start small. Start now. 1% every day. If you do this for a year, you won't need to announce the change. People will feel it. Your work will speak. Your confidence will settle.
Your excuses will disappear. Start the next year unrecognizable. Be unrecognizable. And if this audiobook sharpened your thinking, if it challenged you, if it raised your standard, like this video, subscribe to Mindshift Audiobooks. Because the world doesn't change from big promises, it changes from small actions repeated. 1% every day. You were given a simple instruction: do 1% more today than yesterday. That instruction is not small, it's brutal in its simplicity. Tiny choices compound into impossible results. Protect the streak, design atomic actions, measure the smallest signal, replace friction with ritual. When the plateau comes, adjust the tiniest lever. Surround yourself with people who show up. Stack systems that multiply your effort. In 12 months, you will be different, not because of fireworks, but because of repetition. Now, here's the challenge. Pick one micro-action, do it for the next 7 days, and record the result. Post one proof, tag one person, and don't stop. If this audio landed, like the video, subscribe to Mindshift Audiobooks, and commit 1% every day. Start now.